Okay?
Yeah.
Can I tell the history from 1939 when the Germans entered Poland? There was no Polish government, and this is how they created all the concentration camp, extermination camp.
Okay.
Yeah, this is up to you.
We're recording.
Okay. You can do all of that. So let's just be silent for 1 minute. You can go to the camera now.
Hmm?
You can go to the camera now.
Okay.
After you.
I'm entering right now through the famous gate of Mauthausen, walking in the Appellplatz. I remember thousands of people lining up right here in that place. When I arrived here in the beginning of August 1944, we enter to the right, where is the Wailing Wall. And people were lining up right there. The group, they came up from Plaszow. We got undressed there, and as we were standing over there and getting undressed, I remember right here the barrack, right here there were some women here waving toward us, and then we find out later on there was the prostitute building for the SS. We stay here at that place alongside the back of this barrack. There was the washroom downstairs. There was the steps going down to the washroom. I remember the commandant of Mauthausen was standing there, and he asked me how old I am. And I said to him that I was 2 years older. I don't know why, but I make myself right away a little bit older. And this is when on the files of Mauthausen, I am here and showing that I was born in 1924, but actually I was born in 1926 because I made myself older. And he looked at me and looked like he was anger on his face that I lied to him. And he made it a check mark on my chest with his pencil, and he broke the pencil on my chest from anger. Then when I went down the steps, they make check us to open the mouth, and then they look in our behinds if we didn't hit anything. We didn't know that the water there would come out from the shower or gas. People were panicky. And I really did not care so much about it because I didn't know what happened to my family. And I knew already at that time that my father, my mother were dead already. They were murdered already. My grandparents, my aunt, uncles, cousins, they were all dead. So it didn't make so much difference where I was going. So I just followed up the other people. And at one point, the water was coming out. And you realize that we are taking a real shower. Then when we got out from that point, from the washroom, I got my shoes back because I put them in some bag at that time, paper, and also my picture of my family. This is how I have my old picture of my family that they survived together with me. And we got our uniforms. And then it was already late in the afternoon. We marched to the quarantine place on the end of the Appellplatz on the left side. And we stayed there. The first night I stayed over there. We're laying on the floor. There were no bunks, nothing, just on the floor. And there was no room for other prisoners who would come in. So the couple went inside with their whip and started hitting the people. They said, move. And they had to move and make more room for some additional prisoners. And I stayed there only one night. And then we went into another barrack the following night. And then we had our bunks. But the bunks were very narrow. We had to stay two in one bunk. There are three layers of those bunks. And then the following day, we had to go to the stone mines, the Steinbruch, carrying boulders up and down from in the morning till in the evening. I cannot describe, it's very hard to describe the condition in the stone mines of Mauthausen. Words cannot describe this. If you are not there, you didn't see it, and you did not went through this, it's unbelievable to explain this, what happened. In the beginning, when they started the concentration camps, they brought in first the political prisoners, German politicals that were against the Nazis. And they got red triangles on their uniforms. Then later on, they emptied their prisons. They brought it in the murderers, the robbers. They had like any nation had some criminals, so they brought them in to the concentration camp. I think so was a beginning in Dachau. And they got green triangles. The green triangles hated the red ones, triangle, and the red one hated the green ones. Then there were some bringing the Jews with the yellow signs, and everybody hated the Jews. And then most of the capos later on in Mauthausen, Gusen, and other ones were the green ones, and they were in many cases more vicious than the assessment itself. I heard the stories when a Jew was sitting in the latrine of Gusen, and a couple with the green thing, those vicious men walk in there. I saw these Jews sitting, they push them in to fall inside the latrine, and they drown in it. There are so many different stories, and this very thing that is unbelievable what could happen to the human people. And we have to not to forget that the Germans were humans, but vicious. This was just a vicious people were committing the crime. In 1939, when the Germans entered Poland, the Polish government disappeared, went to London. So Hans Franks was the governor of Poland at that time. And he didn't have to ask anyone where to create the German extermination camps. They were free of doing it, and they did in Belzec, Majdanek, Treblinka. Because the biggest concentration of Jews in Poland, in Europe, they were Poland. There were 3.5 million. And we should not forget that all the other countries collaborated with the Germans, and they were bringing the Jews to Poland, to those German extermination camps. And we cannot just blame one country, Poland, for the atrocities that were committed on the Polish grounds, because those places were created by the Germans to make a fabric of murder on the Polish grounds.
Ed, can I ask you here, can you describe to me the scene that there was on this Appellplatz? What happened here on this Appellplatz?
But when we enter the first day, we went in to the site there where was the Wailing Wall. We lined up over there, and we got undressed and went through the arriving washrooms, take showers. And later, the next following day, when we went to work, we lined up alongside the Appellplatz right here. And they were counting us when we were walking out and went in to work in this Steinbruch, the stone mines of Mauthausen.
Did you stand here every day for Appell?
But we lined up every day before we walk out. We lined up here and then we walked down.
How many men would there be standing here, do you know?
I cannot tell you, but I would say a couple thousand people at least.
And how did they form you?
In five, right. They were always in five.
By this point, what uniform were you wearing?
The uniform of Mauthausen uniform.
Which was what?
The stripe uniform that I still have one of them.
When you entered this camp, were you given a number?
Yes, but I do not remember exactly when we received the number. If I am thinking about it, had to be after we got out from the washrooms. Yes, and this is the number that I received here, 85454, okay? And I wear this all the time on my wrist, that people know something like this happened. Many times people asking me about the tattoo. You see, the tattoo was only in Auschwitz. And some camps, Grossrosen and another one, they give them, not the number, they give them a KL on the arm also. My wife, she was in Auschwitz, and she had her tattoo on it. But she was liberated on the May 5th, 1945, right here in Mauthausen, in the Steinbruch. The barracks were there, right down below the death steps.
And how was your number attached to you?
They had a metal thing, and they had two holes on either side with a wire. You wear this on your wrist.
And did you have any emblems on your jacket?
On the uniform, we had there also a number, the same number on the uniform. And I can't remember exactly. I think so there was like a yellow letter sign on it, because the yellow was for the Jews. I don't remember exactly. I don't want to say something. Or there was a star, or there was just a yellow sign.
Did you get fed when you were on the Appellplatz, or were you fed elsewhere?
I think so. We got our coffee in the morning in the barrack, okay, not on the Appellplatz, no, definitely not, because the food was brought into the barracks.
I'm going to ask you just to stand here for 1 minute silently, and then I'll give you a signal when we're finished. So you can just reflect for a moment. Okay, thank you. Cut.